shifter. And the cart is sideways. Let's watch him start. Heck with what we think.
30 board is sideways. This is the 250 main from Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, and the Butterfinger hole shot's going home with number 14, Kevin Windham on board the Honda. Here comes the Cobra, David Villeman on the inside. It is Windham and Villeman, and they get together, and it's going to be Windham who gets pushed out.
David Villeman with the great move. You see him grab the blade. So, oh, look at this!
Oh, my!
Oh, wow! Kevin Windham! What is up? Throwing down! David Villeman gives him just a little bit in one of the corners, and Windham cuts it tight and gives him a big one-up.
Oh my.
Call it payback, call it what you will, but wow, that was a pretty serious move right there.
I have a feeling the folks at Yamaha are going to look at that piece of tape a lot, and I know his coach, David Bailey, is going to be working on him a lot to make sure that does not happen again. Meanwhile, back to racing action. Into the green flag lap we go. Remember, 20 laps, and your leader right now, number 14, Kevin Windham. Welcome back to Supercross.
Well, in the early part of the show, we talked about the boys in blue, and right now it's all red. Kevin Windham, The Rock, Mike LaRocco.
And here's your Butterfinger hole shot. Look for number 14. Out of nowhere, he just grabs a little extra gear, Cameron, and just throttles through there. But there's number 12, and here it comes. There's David Villeman, number 12.
He's actually hugging the inside. He jumped inside. Windham just one-upped him on the inside. And wow, the Cobra off the track. And man, he's got to be frustrated. We'll see how he regroups. You know, hopefully mentally he'll be able to stay in it and charge forward. And well, Kevin Windham, everybody's been talking about how fast he was going at the Honda test track. And well, at the first round, it looked like he was just getting the bugs out. Right now,
and what's a surprise to me, Cameron, is Chad Reed is way in the back of the pack. Reed sliding all the way back out of, well, now he's moved up to almost to 5th place. So Chad Reed moving up. But your leader right now, as we look at the Tissot running order, is Kevin Windham out in front, Mike LaRocco in 2nd, and Nick Way in 3rd. Here comes Chad Reed.
Way having problems in the whoops, but regardless of it, if you went through there smooth, Reed was coming, and well, Reedy scrubbing some speed, throwing the whip, grabbing a tear off, and his next sight set on Mike LaRocco. Now, The Rock is not an easy guy to get by. He can get wide and hold his elbows up, and I'm not saying that Chad's going to get by anyway. LaRocco had the 2nd fastest time in the final practice. When we talked about times all the time, they really don't matter. The track changes. Bikes get more adapt to what the track, so you can see it slippery, a little bit dusty out there. And I think Chad's got some different lines. You see him going a little bit different section there than The Rock did.
Well, the problem for Chad Reed right now is he cannot run the same pace as Mike LaRocco, because gradually Kevin Windham is starting to pull away. So Mike LaRocco is doing a fellow Honda right a favor. As long as he can hold off Chad Reed, it's going to be nothing but good for Kevin Windham. And I don't know how patient Chad Reed's going to be. Remember, he had to go through a semi to get to the main event, and here he comes to the woods.
Wow, LaRocco transferring across. And what you saw happen there is he started to drop and started to get a little bit out of control, but LaRocco held it, stayed on top of the whoops, and kept going. And looks like Reedy's going to come right up here and go to the outside. He's taking a look at the lines, outside in, over the triple. Watch Chad. He pushes down when he goes off the face and scrubs speed. He gets back on the ground sooner.
LaRocco cuts off his line, and look what Chad does. He squares it out, goes to the inside. Chad Reed picks up yet another spot. So just 2 laps ago, Chad Reed wasn't in the top 7, and here he is now moving into 2nd place, just ahead of number 5, Mike LaRocco. So Kevin Windham, number 14, out in front. Now in 2nd place is Chad Reed, number 22, and in 3rd, Mike LaRocco, number 5.
And the lap times, just so you know, a 56.0 for Windham and a 56.1 for Reed. So close, but Windham is faster, and you can't see that he's not in the picture on some of these when you see the turns and openings for Reed. So Windham has a little bit of breathing room.
To Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona. This is the 250 main event, and your leader, number 14, Kevin Windham. Right now, by my calculations, he has got a 7-second lead over 2nd place, number 22, Chad Reed. Kevin Windham, if you're just joining us, did not get the best start. He got the whole start, and he moved ahead, but it was David Villeman who came in. He took Villeman out. Whether you call it riding or not, I'll leave that up to you. We'll look at it one more time later on the show, but Kevin Windham is your leader as he leads them through, coming up on the halfway point of the 250 main event. Chad Reed, who won last week in Anaheim, sits in 2nd place, and Mike LaRocco, number 5, sits in 3rd.
Wyndham is just poetry when he's on his game. He is so smooth and just so polished all the time, and he just seems to have everything clicking right now. And he's won Supercrosses in the past, and wow, I mean, 8 laps in, there's 20 to go. Anything can happen. He's just looking so great, Todd.
Well, I just did another time check on Kevin Wyndham. He has got about a 7-second lead, so he's picked up almost a full second on Chad Reed on lap number 8 as he comes through one more time. His time, almost 56 seconds even. Chad Reed coming in at 56.105. But Kevin Wyndham, you give him space, you give him time, and he can really make that 4-stroke work. The folks at Honda happy that he is back into Supercross after laying out for almost a full year. And there you see the gap to second place. There's Chad Reed, number 22, winner last week at Anaheim, California, just coming into view. And they are running very close. The problem is Kevin Wyndham got that great start, picking up the Butterfinger hole shot, and he is out in front and just running away with this thing. Chad Reed has got to find a way to track him down.
Well, the last time Wyndham won a Supercross back on the 8th of April in 2000, Irving, Texas, what my book is saying here, and LaRocco still charging, and LaRock not really having a challenger from behind. Fonseca is the rider behind him in 4th place, and wow. Todd, you know, it's kind of, these guys have spread out a bit in this course. Everybody kind of has the same line. There are some options, and it doesn't really give for guys moving back and forth quite a bit. The big separator seems to be the whoops, even though this time it looked like they were a little bit tighter and they were going to be easier for the guys to skim. It's still separating some of the guys. It's probably because they're so deep and sharp. And Ernesto Fonseca, who won a heat race, and well, he's having no problem skimming them right there.
Ernesto Fonseca picked up a big heat win in heat number 1. He had a lot of talent in there. There was no fluke. Fonseca running very smooth. Cameron's pointed out he picked up a victory earlier on the THQ World Supercross GP in Arnhem, his first 250 main event victory. So right now, Fonseca running smooth as we go back to 5th place. That is number 27, Nick Way.
And new to the factory Suzuki squad, Roger DeCoster and a team picking him up this year. You see him tripling that inside section there in that, it's like a double-double-double. And wow, right behind him, Tyler Evans sneaking into the picture. So Evans continuing to charge. Last week a 6th place for Evans, and that's where he's sitting right now.
Tyler Evans has such an upside and potential. We got to keep an eye on that guy. He's wearing the helmet cam tonight as we continue to watch number 27, Nick Way, who sits right now in 5th place, just 2 spots off the podium. The man running away with it right now as the Tissot running order comes up. We'll take a look at Kevin Wyndham, number 14, out in front.
Evans having a little bit of trouble dropping a tire there, and you can see Sean Hamlin coming behind him. Here we're on board with Tyler Evans, getting that section quite nice, and not far back is Hamlin, so Evans needs to get revving and have a little bit of problem with the onboard, but there you see the Monster Energy rider doing it up.
Your leader at Bank One Ballpark in the 250 main event, Kevin Wyndham. We'll be back to Phoenix with more of the 250 main after this. Back inside Bank One Ballpark, Phoenix, Arizona, your leader in the 250 main event, Kevin Wyndham. As we look at the Tissot running order, it's Wyndham, Reed, and LaRocco going 1, 2, and 3. Ezra Luss sitting in 4th. If you're just joining us, Kevin Wyndham got the hole shot, lost the lead on the first lap to David Villeman, and then those two got together, and Villeman just ejected off the track. He has now slid back to 7th place, and Kevin Wyndham moved into 1st. He has not relinquished that lead despite the hard charge of Chad Reed, but Chad Reed unable to get closer than 6 seconds.
The last lap actually times coming in right now for Chad Reed, a 57.0 and a 57.8 for Wyndham. So Chad Reed is moving up a little bit. We'll see about conditioning now. When you talk about conditioning, you would think it would be a problem with Reed's shoulders. You see Wyndham going by and lapping Mike Brown, but the gap is shrinking, and they have a couple laps still to go here. We'll see if Chad Reed can come up and get a little closer. About 5 seconds, is it, Todd? 5
seconds exactly. Chad Reed has shaved off over a second on there. But Cameron, you make a good point. We're on lap 18 of 20. Can Chad Reed shave 5 seconds off Kevin Wyndham's lead as he goes through one more time? And there you see Wyndham has looked flawless. This is not the Kevin Windham we saw in Anaheim last week.
It definitely isn't. I'm not sure if it's just a suspension setup that they changed or if it's also the fact that Kevin had a Supercross under his belt. Now, you got to remember, the last time he raced a Supercross, he broke his femur, and that's a giant bone in your leg. It's your thigh bone, and that is not something fun to do. It's one of the most painful injuries you can have, and here we're taking a look at Chad Reed, who has been shaving the time, but can he get back up there?
Let's check in with Jamie real quick.
Ernesto Fonseca pulled off the track. He had a bench shifter lever. Kenny Germain, his mechanic, was on his back, kicking that thing to get straight again. Ernie went back out on the track, but he's slow going.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Yeah, Ernesto Fonseca, about lap 10, was sitting in 4th place. He's currently sitting in 19th place, so tough going for Ernesto Fonseca after a great start. Meanwhile, we watch Chad Reed trying to whittle down, and right now I think he's wishing this race would go 25, maybe 26 laps, but the white flag is out. This is the final lap, 250 main event from Phoenix.
And you know, the talk was after last week, it was, well, Chad's going to sweep them all. I mean, include me in that group. We were all talking about how fast. I know you're pointing at yourself, Todd. Everybody's like, well, are we just going to have the Chad Reed show? But the crowd is cheering right now for K-Dub, the 14 Honda. Kevin Windham circling in the lead, and he has been looking great.
Well, if you remember, my friend, before the show, we were thinking who's going to win this. And I think I'm going to claim I saw something in Kevin Windham at practice today. He's very methodical. He was looking at spots on the track where he could make up time. And I think he knew if he could get that 4-stroke out to a good start, there was reason that he could run with anyone out on the track, and he's done so today. Number 14, it's been a long time coming. Your winner in the 250 main event, Kevin Windham. And give credit to Chad Reed. He got that lead down to about 3 seconds. You don't know what would happen with a few more, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when David Villeman comes through. I don't think he's going to be as enthusiastic about Windham's victory as he is, but congratulations to Kevin Windham picking up a Supercross victory after a long